So this year looks a great prospect as Castaneda works it to Wadawu. Wadawu to Castaneda, and again, as has been the case with a few of these through balls they've attempted, just overhit him.
I didn't do a Tony Gregg style pitch report before I came out here, but just from the eye, it seems to be skidding a lot more than it normally does here. Maybe just a bit of a dewy evening here in Warrane. Apologies
for our YouTube audience. A few issues there. We're now up and running on YouTube as well as Facebook. So, of course, if it's ever down in one place, do check the other, would be my advice. But we're firing on all cylinders at once again here with the Hobart Zebras. Throwing it towards Glenage, reaching around brilliantly was the big cuddler, Alex Holmes. Glenage wanted a free kick for the cuddle, but that was just good defending from him. Castaneda slides it through. Holmes has continued his run here, the big marauding centre half. Thinks he's a striker all of a sudden, big Holmesy. Charging up there, but couldn't impact the contest. And he dispossesses Hughes-Luke. Hughes-Luke uses those long levers to win it back, though. Then showed a little bit too much of it to Wadawu, who I thought fouled Hughes-Luke. Indeed, it looks like a throw-in, though, will be the call.
Certainly has the Beckenbauer-style rugged beard, as the cuddler Alex Holmes, striding forward from centre-back. Zebras now will look to switch sides through Geordie Muller. Peeling off is Dillon. Glenage back to Riley Dillon. Just trying to stay onside there was the Canadian Iski Van Dorn. And well defended from Little. Concedes a corner in the end. Wouldn't lean too far forward on the on that wall there. It's a bit of an OH&S hazard there at times. Joel Salmon finds Stevens, who looks up immediately and tries to find Nkoso. Peeling off wide is the striker. Wadawu. To Castaneda. Stevens just gets in front of Glenage. Lucas Hill turns it over the mountain now. Having his go at striding forward. Tries to get around the long levers of Hughes-Luke. It's certainly easier said than done. Samet. Wide to Undy. Now Wadawu. Olympia keeping the ball well here in the middle of the park with Wadawu. Castaneda, but Undy made run in the wrong direction, and Castaneda just not quite on the same wavelength as Van Dorn. Not a whole lot of space and forward options there, so just knocks it back to Dillon.
Looks over at the back markage to Hughes-Luke. The Zebras patiently knocking the ball around. This is something they like to do, just try and draw the defence out of position, and then they pull the trigger, which they've done so here. It's Dwayne Walsh up against Joel Salmon. Will be a throw in here in an advanced position, and Walsh looks like he's once again going to leave it to Jaden Hay, who's straight across. He knows the score, and Hughes-Luke's going to take up that position in the middle of the penalty area. Once again, Alex Holmes, probably a good marker for him. Johnson clawed away at it. Castaneda ships it towards Nkoso, attacking at a tremendous speed with Stone Cold Riley Dillon. Tries to work the cross, and it's blocked behind for a corner. As the Zebras probe away here in the first 10 minutes. No real clear-cut chances to speak of just yet.
No, not yet, and just noticing for Olympia, I think Hugh Undy is a striker at the moment. A very quick change around. They've moved Nkoso and Wadawu out wide very quickly. Looks like Hughes-Luke's going to have to go off. Probably a blood rule in this instance. Nothing too noticeable from our position up here in the commentary box, but we'll assume he gets cleaned up quickly. But it's one less piece of tall timber the Zebras have got for this corner. There's making the run towards the back post and just over the head. And that's Alexander Markage striding in at the back post.
It was indeed, and fizzing delivery there from Stone Cold. Some real dip on that one. Really hit it with good pace too. Good ball, but couldn't find a teammate at the back post as the American Johnson ships this one wide to Tommy Little. Little for the business Altman. Oh, just glides past Iski Van Dorn there. Nicely done there by the business. Tommy Little. Wadawu back to Castaneda. Castaneda looking to drive the play here. Instead sends it wide for Stevens. Stevens to Undy, who's just drifted across now to the left, and he's going to have a run at Walsh here, Undy. He goes inside, quickly gets surrounded though. 4 Zebras. The elevator doors slam shut on Undy there, and he just needs to get rid of it. didn't, and the turnover comes as a result of it.
Yeah, crowded out very quickly there. There's Huundi. There's Sklenage. Now to Ortman. To Undy. Checking inside again. Now Ortman searching out wide, but no one really there. Dwayne Walsh has enough. And the Zebras just managing to get the ball out. Holmes to Nkoso. He's got Wadawa up in front of him, looks to find Undy, just hits it out of the way and then fouls Dwayne Walsh in the process. An ankle tap on the experienced defender. They've got a bit of space here out wide if they exploit it, and Sheku Kamara's seen it. That's probably why he's in the side over Jake French. Great delivery out there to Stone Cold Riley Dillon. Looks into the box, but well cleared from the mountain. On the volley, it's an ambitious effort. Yeah, it's Iski Van Dorn there in the middle of the park. Just
trying to bolster that highlights reel before he heads back to the Great White North there, Iski Van Dorn. And why not? We're always up for a little wonder-goal attempt, but just needs to get over the top of that ball. That one always rising. And one of the first real shots in anger of the game, in truth. It's been a game filled with any real chances so far. As Johnson launches this one, Marquage comes over the top of Nkoso, then senses a chance to win a second header. Ends up playing that off his back to perfection to Sklenage, feeding it through, looking for Jaden Hay, and Joel Samet taps it away from him.
Surprised Sklenage didn't turn and run at the defence then, had a bit of space.
Yeah, thought about it as Hughes strides back onto the park, and he can get the tick off from Copra. He does, so he can be that target man once again. Alex Holmes tells Stevens to go get Sanders, and I'll take care of Hughes. He senses the opportunity to maybe get one-on-one with Joel Samet. Take two. Probably a good thing, as it was not Hayes' best work on that throw. That was far from Rory Delap in his prime. Here's Matthew Sanders trying to work over Samet, and he drives one straight into the hands of Johnson.
Yeah, dangerous to let the Colonel Sanders turn on to the left peg inside the box, no matter where it is in the 18-yard area, as we've got some iPad calamity going on here. Up to Stone Cold Riley Dillon. Iski Van Dorn can't quite get around Tommy Little. He's up in the training net. Stone Cold back to Geordie Muller. Covering plenty of territory here in the first half is the centre mid for the Zebras. On ball forward to Sklenage. Can't quite find Sanders. Little rushes it clear, but it's straight back to the Zebras. Geordie Muller just gets a toe to it and finds Hughes Sloot. Back to Muller. Needs to try and get it out wide here, and they eventually do. And no advantage forthcoming. Not bringing you back for the foul, I should say, from Copra. Olympia look to attack. Castaneda beaten out to it by Walsh. It's out wide. Now Sklenage. Holmes with a strong foot in. Finds Castaneda. Koso calls for offside, not heeded, and nearly skips around the defender. There's king of the handles, Joffrey Nkoso, for a pretty agricultural style ball. Goes very well to the Calgary Flyer. Van Dorn wants the return ball, but the Mountain gets in front. Heavy touch from Brett Johnson. And he just gets away with that. Shades of Sheku Kamara from last Friday night.
Yeah, just a bit too casual here. Johnson, he didn't have the time. It took a nasty bobble, to be fair, so he didn't want to just try and launch that first time. But by the time he'd taken the touch, Jaden Hay, Iski Van Dorn, had closed him down. Very dangerous moments there, but it wasn't the kindest back pass from Tommy Little in the keeper's defence there when they're bobbling like that in front of you.
You almost need to hit that with like the laces to try and get it out. It's not one you can really side foot with confidence.
Yeah, it's a tough one to deal with as Castaneda drops it back to Stevens. A forceful ball up there to Undy. Did well to control it in the end, and then a little bit handsy there with Sklenage. Able to get away with it, and Muller's ball looked like it was just going to roll out of play. Jaden Hay gives a good fist of it, but he finds his passage to the ball blocked off by the big cuddler there, Alex Holmes. Holmes is looking for Nkoso, flicked on by Marquage. Harutza sweeping behind. Jaden Hay nods it straight to Stevens. Back to Samet. Back to Stevens. Now Castaneda, he turns and goes. He's got Joffrey and Koso making a run. There's some really good body work off the ball there by Juan Harutza, just inhibiting his progress.
You could see what Nkoso was trying to do. He was trying to loop around him to get the through ball from Castaneda and just deviated off the natural line of the ball there, did Harutza. But one player I'm impressed with really in this game is Paul Stevens, who was great to see on the challenge. He's clearly been given the task, as we'll break from that tangent for a moment, but not the greatest through ball in the end. Falls right to Johnson. Stevens has clearly been given the job of just putting his body between sort of where Sklenarge and Stevens are. They haven't really received as many balls to feet as they normally do here today, and he's doing a pretty good job at shielding across. There's Geordie Muller now, finds the feet of Sanders. Wide to Whiskey Van Dorn, low ball, but the Mountain will claim that one and look to start a counter-attack for Olympia.
Gets it back here, does Lucas Hill, and launches a raking diagonal that just floats over the head of Hugh Undy, who says, come on mate, I'm not as tall as you buddy, just because you're freakishly tall doesn't mean we all are. Sheku Kamara gets himself into all sorts of trouble. He has his pocket picked by Nkoso, who then made an errant attempt. Probably would have been better off just trying to square that one up to Warren Waddell, I reckon, but in the end, Sheku Kamara, who coughed up a howler of a goal in similar circumstances last week, gets himself into a bit of trouble with his feet there. Johnson smashes up. There's no excuse for the keepers tonight either. It is a beautiful night out there. Actually, almost feels like kind of a spring summer kind of evening out there. You haven't even got that chill factor you normally have.
I feel like I'm at a Summer Cup game here at Warrior Park tonight. It's a lovely still day, still evening out there. And Tommy Little just a heavy touch, gives him a chance. Lovely back heel. Whiskey Van Dorn running in on goal, tries to centre it, but again, doing a very good job of putting every through ball right down the throat of American keeper Brett Johnson here. Good distribution from the American, equally as good a touch from Nkoso. Down the line. Easily intercepted from the chorizo. Now Geordie Muller. Notice he didn't pass it back to Kamara first time there, and Kamara was a bit better on this occasion. Riley Dillon now with the ball on the sideline. Wants someone to come to him short. He got that option, but didn't get the next pass.
Yeah, Sklenarge there, just a little bit lazy, dare I say, just went for the little flick there.
I think he was expecting there to be about another 15 metres of touchline there for his winger to run into.
Just simply isn't at Warrior Park. Simpler, better, I think, on this type of pitch. Ortman does quite well there, gets ahead of Geordie Muller. Across to Stevens, back to the business. Now Joel Samet pulls the trigger early, and it's a pretty good ball to Nkoso. Takes it in stride, and Nkoso denied by Kamara at the near post. What a ball that was over the top from Joel Samet. And well-timed run from Nkoso. Kamara covers his angles well and back the other way. A chance now for the Zebras. Jaden Hay in a foot race against Johnson, who gets there first, then gets the shoulder of Johnson. That's a free kick and surely a yellow card as well. And Hay immediately clutching at his shoulder, looks in a world of hurt. And the keeper will do well to escape without a booking here. Off his line, Hay gets there first and just leaps into him. That's at a minimum of yellow for me, Paul.
It's got to be a slice of cheddar at minimum for Brett Johnson. Wasn't quite a goal-scoring opportunity, so possibly not a red card, but that seemed to be a throw-in call there from Brenton Copra.
My God.
And if so, I hope his boss isn't watching at home. That's all I got to say to that. Jaden Hay's just about had his shoulder taken off in that instance, and it's going to be a throw-in. How that's not a slice of cheddar, I have no idea.
Yeah, he's got away with that one, Brett Johnson. Only a throw-in. Hay really still clasping that shoulder. The throw taken away by Stevens, who's very solid so far defensively. Muller works it to Hughesloot, sets up the volley for himself, but also allowed in the cuddler, who just flung himself at it, draws the contact, and he gets the free kick there. As we have another look here.
Two players down now at the moment. Hughesloot struggling to get back to his feet.
Just got a bit of a stinger there from Hughesloot afterwards. So a couple of players in the walls. Really going. We expected a physical game, and that's what we're getting.
We certainly are. And well, we got this stoppage in play. I just thought we often harp on about the lack of width here at Warrior Park, and the official stats are not even, it's 60.9 metres wide, which is very, very narrow a ground. Minimum width for an international match is 64 metres, so you couldn't have any form of international game here. That's how narrow it is.
Fake surface probably also prohibit an international game, but
yeah,
you know.
Besides that,
we'll
blame the width. We'll blame the width instead.
That's a good point you make, though. It is.
It's just
crazy.
Yeah, I just feel like we need to justify this. We do go on about it a little bit, but it does make a huge impact on this game.
Yeah, that's why we do go on about it, because it is so stark. As I don't know, is Jaden going to be able to continue here? He really looks to be in quite a bit of trouble. Meanwhile, Luke Hughes-Luke has just wandered off, and he's been subbed off by Ben Robinson. So, geez, there are just players in all sorts of trouble out there at the moment. And Hughes-Luke's night comes to a premature end and hurt himself there in that challenge with Holmes. He's the one who fouled Holmes, but he's picked up an injury in the process. So a blow there for the Zebras as Castaneda picks it up in a pocket of space. Threads it wide for Hugh Undy. Hugh Undy with the early cross to the back post. Can't pick out the business Ortman. And Riley Dillon just escorting that one out of play.
Yeah, a lot of players getting some pretty banged up here in the first 25 minutes at Warrior Park. Rarely you see a sub that early, but clearly not able to continue, we assume, from here, as Riley Dillon takes the throw in down the line. Heavy touch off the chest of the Colonel, who did not want Wadawu to take that throw in quickly. He gets it to Ortman. The business, back to the postman. Wadawu scrapping in the boxes in Koso, trying to get a touch Undy, and then an acrobatic own goal nearly! Eventually cleared. That was nearly a scissor kick into an own goal there from the Dwayne pipe. He's rattled the crossbar. It's Geordie Muller, actually. Geordie Muller with one of the more acrobatic efforts at an own goal you've ever seen.
Oh, goal line technology. Jeez. That would have been close to crossing the line too, I reckon. It stayed out. Geordie Muller.
Apologies to Walshy. I assume that was the right back coming across there.
So it's Olympia knocking on the door here. Castaneda across to Hugh Undy, starting to come into it a bit as the fleet-footed Undy. He drives that one in and sneaks in, and it looks like Nkoso is it who's got the final touch. It's Warren Wadawu even, and it's 1-0 to the Olympia Warriors. Well, they've been knocking on the door. Hugh Undy, he came off the bench last week. He set up the match winner. He's done it again here today. He slides it in, and a good finish that from Warren Wadawu. A real poacher's type finish. And Olympia take the lead.
Yeah, good finish there from the winger, cutting inside into the middle. You had to hear the air horn. Well, there it is, right on cue. The air horn, the customary celebration here at Warrior Park, and the postman putting that one right in the bottom corner, just getting across the central defender. Hugh Undy, his impact on the team shown there. When he's on form, he can be one of the better players in the state. Again, Hugh Undy. It's Joel Samet now just whacking that one towards the goal scorer with Darwood. Ortman, Stevens, he's got Castaneda ahead, but elects to go to Samet. Undy's desperately trying to get back to his nominal left wing position. Oh, wonderful touch there from Marty Castaneda. Down the line to Hugh Undy. What's he got in his locker this time? Beats two. Jinx inside, goes towards the back post, but Dawu had peeled back and quickly apologises to Hugh Undy.
Making a difference, Hugh Undy. He's starting to really come into this game. We saw last week the impact he had off the bench and setting up the match winner, and they have missed him. There can be no doubt of that, the Warriors. He has that real flair in the final third and just has an ability to make room for himself, and his delivery is usually pretty spot on too. So some lovely work there, and Warren Wadawu, the little poacher's finish there, nipping in front of the keeper and steering it home as he knocks this one back to Little. Little to Ortman, just waited on it. That led Iniski Van Dorn. Sanders dispossessed by Stevens. It's a pretty brutal challenge, that one there. Big Rutza, quick free kick. It's just not on at all. No one up there really, even if Undy had got the ball. And fortunately for them, they're going to get a retake.
Surely not. And is it a slice of cheese in the end there from Copra?
It is a slice of cheese. Looks like Iski Van Dorn going into the book there. So the Canadian Gets himself the yellow ticket. And he doesn't look overly thrilled. And perhaps Copper just suggesting some studs raised.
Whiskey Van Dorn probably saying, why isn't your keeper being booked, as arguing that one. Not getting him in the referee's notebook. There, Whiskey Van Dorn. It'll be Righty Castaneda over the ball.
Substitution for Hobart Zebras coming off. Number 3, Jaden Hay, being replaced by number 16, Matthew Parker.
I was listening into Mamarcus for that sub because I didn't see it.
Hobart Zebras are down to one sub. Jaden Hay's been forced off with a shoulder injury, so he's unable to continue. The free kick taken by Castaneda. Lucas Hill's clattered into, and he gets back up pretty quickly, but just hit the deck there, the big mountain. But look, Jaden Hay, he's over. Matthew Pace comes on, and they've lost Hay and Huxley to injury, and they're down a goal. Fair to say this would not be how Gabriel Marcage would have drawn things up, and I know he would have drawn this entire game up as Warren Wadawu picks off an error from Kamara and then tried to slide it through for Castaneda. They're at 6s and 7s right now here, the Zebras. Can they turn things around with an attack down the left through Dillon? Sends it to the fresh legs of Pace, just on for Hay. Centering ball for Geordie Muller. Looks up, immediately pressured by Undy, so he sends it wide for Big Ben Robinson. Wanting it in the back post was Dillon. He goes more centrally in the cuddler, decisively away, attacked that ball and won it emphatically. Hugh Undy tries to skip around Robinson, unable to win the throw-in.
Yeah, Zebras really having to move their team around as Dwayne Walsh is now in the box. Good touch to start with, and eventually getting across was the Mountain shirt pull and push on Joel Samet, surely. From Andy Sanders coming across, the Colonel reaching over for that one. So all hands on deck there, like everyone trying to get into a variety bucket. All over Joel Samet down in the corner. Now the Mountain will stride across to take this one, but seeing, it seems like Dwayne Walsh has moved up to right mid where Hay was and Robinson to right back. And just trying to think where Huxley was in the centre of the park, so he's... who's that in the centre
Van Dorn.
Yeah, Van Dorn's moved to centre mid, so we've seen him in a few different positions this year. The Calgary Flyer. Under pressure is Holmes. Stevens. The Mountain. Finds Undy, who tried to flick that on. Look at Koso's pace. Jeez, he is fast. Tries to get around Marcage, who eventually happily concedes a throw-in.
Yeah, Marcage just suggesting pace isn't everything, just timing just as important. He was on the spot there. Shut down the king of the handles. He's really, much like Joffrey, becoming more and more of a monster to deal with as the seasons go on. As this one is now Castaneda across the face, poked on by Wadawu, and they double their lead. It's a bullet of a ball from Castaneda, and Warren Wadawu is at the double, and Olympia are on fire.
Oh, the postman lurking at the back post again. It's a bullet of a cross. Look at that turn from Mighty Castaneda. Wadawu got behind the defender. Riley Dillon probably didn't want to put a toe in to concede an own goal, but the postman coming around the back, sneaking up on him. And now there's a small committee meeting going on here at the Zebras. They are not happy with their performance so far. 2-0 down. It's the postman doing all the damage here tonight, but that turn across from Mighty Castaneda, you can see why he's got his AIS and Joey's experience not too far in the past. It's a lovely, lovely manoeuvre from Castaneda as the air horn's still going here at Warrior Park. In a very buoyant mood down in their corner. Zebras really have to try and get back into this. The last 15 minutes especially been all Olympia.
Yeah, look, they've put in some improved performances in recent weeks. I thought last week against Lonnie City was the best I've seen this Olympia team play all year. Probably should have had more than the 2 goals they scored. They completely dominated that game. They've been rounding into some decent form late in the year. You can see the development of the youngsters, and Koso and Castaneda especially. And Warren Wadawu's missed parts of this season. They've been without Nick Mearns all year, so there's reasons for why they are 5th. But just in the last couple of weeks, seen some encouraging signs, I reckon, for the Warriors faithful ahead of next year. And interesting to see what they do recruiting-wise heading into 2019. Interesting to see if Marcus pulls out the checkbook again and they have a really big tilt at it. Of course, Glenorchy Knights coming into the league. Competition is going to be fierce to sign players, I reckon.
Yeah, competition for who's got the biggest checkbook will be big in the NPL next year as well. But I think at the top of that shopping list is a number 9, as well as the postman and everyone like that has been, as Undy now, I think wins the corner off that one. Really, despite the injuries, they've been fairly consistent in that sort of in the middle of the park. Few defensive injuries, but it's really been that target man number 9, i.e. Jakob Sklenaj, who they had last year.
Yeah, they've really missed him. He's the exact player that they would want and best striker they've had in a long time. They're very disappointed to have lost him, but him up there with Undy, Wadawa and Koso. It's quite the front line. There's corner opportunity here for the Warriors. It's swung to the back post. Lucas Hill diving all over his man. And conceding the foul there, I think, was the Mountain.
I wouldn't say front line too loudly around these parts. Oh, that is a definite foul from the Mountain, Lucas Hill.
Yeah, that certainly was a rather unceremonious trip to the ground there for Big Benny Robinson.
Under pressure again, Kamara, 2 Olympia players in his grill, and geez, that takes some confidence. Sheku Kamara making us absolutely cringe up here in the commentary box. Some confidence, especially after last week's gaff and being 2-0 down. And give up the chase eventually and concede a goal kick. Not sure whether to put that, what category to put that under Sheku Kamara.
Fortunate.
Yeah.
Lucas Hill carries the ball.
Ballsy was my category.
Yeah, look, that also too. I suppose we'll judge it on the successes. That's an angled header back to Robinson, who'll play it back to his keeper. Well, he got away with it. In the end, he skipped around the defender, but certainly after last week, the heart does go to the mouth a little as Alex Holmes doesn't deal with this. Lets in the Dwayne pipe. It's Walsh. Well done here to fight back by Lucas Hill. Just forced him wide in the end, and he drops it back for pace. Iski Van Dorn, touch takes him behind. I think Altman's trying to rip his arm off here, but eventually Van Dorn able to continue. They've forced him back here, Stevens and Altman, and in the end those two are able to steer it away. So good coverage in defence there by the entire Warriors defensive unit.
Especially the Mountain, Lucas Hill, Dwayne Walsh. I thought if you could see he was trying to chip the keeper. Johnson made him get into 2 minds and then 2 bounces of the ball. The situation was over, but Walsh again trying to get a touch in, but Holmes hoops it clear. Harutza's probably going to win most aerial battles against Joffrey and Koso. Robinson clattered into Paul Stevens, but concedes the throw.
Sennett takes it to Undy. Looks to skip around Ben Robinson. Halts that. Some real confidence about this Warriors team right now. They're buzzing about the pitch. They're flying around. Looking like the team perhaps we thought they were going to be heading into the year, other than the one that's been stuck in 5th place for most of the season, unable to get near the teams above them. But they've been pretty impressive this evening. Sklenaj with a flick on. Lucas Hill in some of his best form in the middle of the defence has been a big part of why they've looked a more settled unit. And they've decided we're just going to leave him at centre back. They'd love 2 of them. They'd love someone to stick in the number 10 role as well, but his best football I think does come in the middle of defence.
They've tried him at every position up the spine of the park, haven't they? And I think just with his build, even though they have a large amount of centre-backs, it is centre-back his best position in the end, as Stevens can't quite get out of the way of Sklenaj, who concedes another one of the more obvious fouls we've seen this evening. No eyes for the ball whatsoever there from the Czech striker. Deflected up in the air and just looks, when you put your head down and just are nowhere near the ball, like Sklenaj was in that situation.
Yeah.
Some fairly agricultural fouls here this evening.
I'm sure he was ever going to get away with that one, as Lucas Hill smashes this one. Hugh Undy's made a bursting run, won't quite get there. It's a real cornerback type action there from him. Just the turn just as the ball arrived. But I think that probably would have been a foul in American football as well as our version.
I think that would have been a bit of pass interference there as well.
Just a few flags being thrown, I reckon. I might see the flag being thrown from the ARs, and rather than sticking their flag up, just start throwing them on the field.
I just want Markaj to pull out a red flag out of his sock, a la Belichick, and just throw it on the field. I'd be all for that.
Coach's challenge.
Coach's challenge is Geordie Muller with a delightful through ball. Just waited on it. The Zebras attacking with Dawu, just gets there in time. Altman can't keep it in either. the coach's challenge. If you can have VAR, might as well.
Well, we're more than happy to fill the VAR role up here in our cosy little position. Sure, Ash Wilkes of Byrnstone would have the technology to really add to it. You know, food for thought for the future. Ron Wadawi knocks this one down the line. And
Hashtag bring VAR to NPL TAS. You know where to put that to everyone out there watching.
well and truly on that bandwagon as Sheku Kamara drives it long. Sklanage playing the role of target man, but Holmes judged that header a little bit better. Worked it to Tuandi, who takes it off down the left. He's got Robinson for company, who does just enough to see it away from him. And he was waiting for someone to give him an option. None was forthcoming, so he says, all right, I'll give you an option instead. Castaneda gets his foot in. Niski Van Dorn now. The Calgary Flyer flying here at Paul Stevens and then sliding through a good-looking ball for Dwayne Walsh. Walsh slides it across for Matthew Sanders, who stuffs the finish.
Offside.
The flag had been raised anyway to spare his blushes. That was the best move of the night. The Hobart Zebras, lovely flowing football this, but I reckon on that replay, a very good decision. He's in front of all those defenders.
I had my hand firmly thrust into the air, so we had a pretty good view up here of that one, and a very good call from, I'm assuming that's McInerney on that side. Certainly not him on the far side. Brett Johnson looks to take this free kick. Again, looking long. Surely pushing the back from Muller, not given by the referee. Now to Ortman. Cut out in the end. Dwayne Walsh, who's been in the thick of the action since moving up from right back to right wing. Pace, can't quite get on it. Another wrestling match. Really wanting his arm there. That was Mark the Business Ortman. Sanders just about having his shoulder dislocated there.
Yeah, I don't know if Ortman's been to the Sergio Ramos school of defending, but he's certainly been clutching at the arm a bit here this evening. And Brenton Copra says, you'll have a slice of cheese for that. He's noticed that he's been grabbing the arm just a bit too readily and says, do that again and you'll be off. You have a yellow ticket.
Well, it is very Ramos-like to get a yellow ticket there from Mark the Business Ortman, so clearly doing his homework midweek. It was Mark the Business Ortman with the yellow card. Must have been watching the Super Cup during the week. Harutsa and Lucas the Mountain Hill doing a nice bit of dance moves in the middle of the box. Having a nice dance, those two. Pretty sure the Den can wait until after the match, boys. Lucas Hill using all his experience to run as far away from the situation as possible and get some of Brett Johnson's drink.
Oh, that is wily stuff as Sanders and Samet fire up, and Paul Stevens doesn't like the treatment that Sanders dished out to Samet and shoved him right back. A bit of a pushing match breaking out the box here. Well, things were threatening to boil over pre-game, and again, just rearing their heads here. Copra tells them all to just settle down. I mean, there was nothing too much in it. Sanders just rather uncalled for, gave the young kid a bit of a push, and Paul Stevens was not going to stand for it.
It'd be the 5th strongest challenge I've seen in this match. I mean, if he gets a cheese for that and Johnson gets nothing, I'd be shocked. Can't quite see it on the replay. Paul Stevens and Sanders getting a slice of cheese in the end. It's we had 4 slices of cheese in the first half. It's not a bad effort in the end. I don't even know where this free kick's being taken from. All eyes are on the 18-yard line here at the moment.
About halfway.
Somewhere near halfway. Who needs to see where that's coming from? All the action is in the 18-yard box. There's Rutzer and Hill still going at it. Ball comes in over everyone's head in the end. Holmes must have got a good shout from one of his teammates to let that one go through. And after a minute of push and shove, a bit of handbags, we've got 2 slices of cheese, but no shot in the end. Johnson in the usual Mona kit, unlike the rest of his teammates, sponsored by Subaru here this evening, launches that one long. Dwayne Walsh. Alex Holmes and Sanders not taking a backward step, and given that a foul, I didn't think Sanders did a whole lot there. Only missed the ball by a millisecond or two. You've got to go somewhere, and when Holmesy stands his ground, there's only one place you're going to go, and that's off him and backwards.
He's a fairly immovable object, is the big cuddler. See the height of those two central defenders there, Hill and Holmes. There wouldn't be many defensive partnerships around the world with the stature those two have at any level. There's Lucas Hill. Smashes this one wide. It's going to take a fair effort to keep it in. Did pretty well there, did Warren Wadawu, but in the end just showed a bit too much of it. Gave it to Van Dorn. Now they work it forward to Sanders, looking to combine with Sklenage. Threads it through for the overlapping Riley Dillon. Plays it first time. And it's a poor delivery from Stone Cold there. Summing up his delivery was his nickname, really. He had a few options in the box and just put it well over the bar.
Yeah, well, nowhere near any of his teammates there from Stone Cold Riley Dillon. Again, Brett Johnson with the goal kick. They're not opting to take any short here this evening. He's kicked that one out in the full as the American keeper. Sanders and Holmes go at it again. The Cuddler, the winner again. Sklenage backing into Hill's shirt pull and given against Lucas Hill. And the slice of cheese is being prepared from Brenton Copra once again. And it's in pretty dangerous territory here for any Zebras player. As we have a look at the replay, it's a drag back, a trip. Not quite as convinced, co-commentator.
No, that's not what my scepticism is. I was wondering if it was a scoring chance that he had denied him by pulling him down there. It was outside the box, so there's no bailout for him, but he gets away with it.
There's a few defenders in the area, I guess.
Yeah, there was. I'm not convinced any of them were going to be able to reach him in time, and I think that's the point Iski Van Dorn was making, but a chance for Riley Dillon from the dead ball. I think more often than not you just get the yellow for that one, but no, I don't think anyone has got more yellow cards in the NPL Tasmania for shirt pulls than Lucas Hill over the last 18 months. I reckon 100% of his cards have been for shirt grabs. He is just... he excels at that. He doesn't get beat very often. When he does, he says, "Nah, you're going no further." Just yanks him back. And he's been in the book a few times over the past couple of seasons since he's returned from Switzerland, and nearly all of them will be for shirt grabs. So Riley Dillon now steps up over the dead ball here. And they go low through the massive humanity, or will he curl it? He kicks it straight into the wall there. Tried to go up and over. Now X Holmes sliding in. Emphatically wins that one away from Dillon. Ben Robinson is probably the most likely candidate now for the long throw with Jaden Hay off. He gives him a fair heave himself. He does just that. Sanders the target off the shoulder of Hill. Will it fall for Jakob Sklenage? It did, but Tommy Little nods it behind for another corner.
Another corner for the Zebras. Jakob Sklenage really getting in the game the last 5 minutes, but he's going to get a goal pretty quickly. We've only got a minute left of normal time here in the second half. It's the corner coming in where the Olympia fans are located towards the back post, and well cleared in the end. Shot Sklenage underneath, and the Czech marksman makes it 2-1. Here a rifled finish underneath Brett Johnson.
Very timely goal, that one from the Czech Cobra, right before half time as things threaten to boil over once again here. We've got another pushing match breaking out. So we have a look at Sklenage. I think Johnson will feel he might have had that one, but as a keeper, that's one where you've got very little time to react to. You're not really going to be moving your body a whole lot. As Matty Sanders suggesting there was a headbutt, as things are really threatening to boil over here, and the halftime whistle probably can't come quickly enough. And see if Josh McInerney on this near touch line has spotted anything.
He was right there in the action, Josh McInerney. I don't know if he was looking at the notebook or looking at the incident. It was Warren Wadawu and Sanders all in the area. Riley Dillon quickly ran away, which was a smart move from Stone Cold given his history. But if anyone saw it, it would be the AR on this side, Josh McInerney. And I mean, Jakob Sklenage, when you hit it that hard from 10 yards out, it's always hard for the goalkeeper to react in time, and just got underneath him through the legs. Just looks like they were comparing notes as Copra walking over. Who is he walking over to?
He's walking over to the Dwayne pipe, is he, or is it Undy?
Looks like Hugh Undy.
Hugh Undy. So a slice of cheese for somewhat mystified Hugh Undy.
It's 4, I think, for Olympia this evening. You got Altman, Hill, Undy. I'm trying to think of the fourth one then. No?
And he's going to give a slice of cheese to Stone Cold Riley Dillon as well. So he vacated the area, but he didn't escape the attention of Josh McInerney. And he goes into the books. So after all that, it's 2-1, game on, and the Zebras pulled one back. Just immediately had a bit of a break in proceedings, but half-time not too far away, and a huge goal in the context of this game, Paul Hunt.
Yeah, I definitely think that's what they needed. They was pretty much from the 10th minute to the 40th minute, it's been all Olympia, and they just started to wind back into shape, did the Zebras. Glenage was getting on the ball a bit more. Dwayne Walsh surprisingly causing more problems for Joel Samet than Jaden Hay did before he unfortunately had to come off as Stevens rifles that one into Whiskey Van Dorn, moving into that central role, and Glenage with that touch, but the second defender in the mountain, Lucas Hill, comes across the cover in the 47th minute. Probably say we've got maybe another 2 minutes left here potentially. There's the throw-in taken on the far side. Stone cold. Riley Dillon down the line to the Colonel. He's got pace for company. Just kept in and off the corner flag, and a goal kick. In the end, the Colonel conceding that one. Lucas Hill going over to say hello and trying to organise a meet-up for next time.
Well, Whiskey Van Dorn was telling me pre-game he was just angling for a wrestling nickname of his own. He's had plenty of opportunity to get in there and earn himself one, but
Canadian?
He's stayed well away from it, like a Canadian you'd expect would, really. I mean, very diplomatic, very friendly people.
Oh, look, I mean, when you're told from the age of 1 to stay away from black bears, I mean, you're used to staying away from things.
Just disappointing, though. He was dead set keen to have a bit of a wrestling nickname, a la Stone Cold, but he's had countless opportunities in this first half ball. He's neglected to take any of them up.
Just going through my head of Canadian wrestlers. Bret Hart, I think, is a Canadian wrestler. I know your wrestling knowledge is fairly minimal.
Fairly limited, probably the best way of describing it. I know one, though, and that is Stone Cold. He's over the ball now, and he swings this one. Robinson, the target, well punched away by Brett Johnson. A decisive fist out of there, and Koso now duelling with Whiskey Van Dorn. One way, then the other. Van Dorn wins it back. Well done by the Canadian. He's worked off it in the end by Nkoso. Throw in, they want to take it quickly. They know time. He's winding down. Glenage worked it back towards Van Dorn, but nothing comes of it, and Stevens is able to hit Wadawu. Wadawu to Castaneda. Do the Warriors have enough time? Well, now the Zebras do. They cop it straight up to Alex Markage. Back to Undy. Undy now charging off down the left here. Joffrey Nkoso. His option riding shotgun. He heads that way and he backs himself to beat Robinson in a foot race. Has he won a corner? He won't, because the half-time whistle has beaten them all, and we have gone 49 minutes. So Olympia can protest, but the half-time whistle was due. And that brings us to an end. An intriguing first 45, and it augurs well for the second half, I reckon, at 2-1. Both teams will feel they're in the game. Zebras were down 2-0. Had 2 players limped off injured, but that goal from Jakob Glenage just before half-time has really brought them back into it.
Yeah, it certainly has, and nothing going on the sidelines here as the players walk off. Olympia heading straight to the change rooms. Here's the Zebras again having another committee meeting out on the pitch. I think they're going to go full Jimmy Bullard here soon and just start sitting down and having a chat, I think, in the middle of the pitch as we have a look at the highlights. Once again, Glenage rifling that finish through the legs. And just going to see here if we manage to get any of the afters. Glenage running through. Everyone, if you had the afters and just some pointing in their general direction. It is Riley Dillon all over it, which isn't a great surprise given his track record, but
one of the great antagonists.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So something's happened between him and Undy that sparked it. They've said, get out of here, Stone Cold. He's evacuated, and then he just threatened to boil over. Eventually, cooler heads prevailed, and we head to the half. 2-1 with the game very much in the balance. I'm going to go suss out this pulled pork type situation. We'll be back in around about 10 minutes with what should be a cracking second 45.
18-yard box. It's launched in that direction. Should be keeper's ball. Hugh Sloot just does enough to get in the way of Johnson, but Riley Dillon looks into the box, but well cleared from the mountain. On the volley, it's an ambitious effort. Yeah, it's Iski Van Dorn there in the middle. Van Dorn wants the return ball, but the mountain gets in front. Heavy touch from Brett Johnson. And he just gets a heavy touch, gives him a chance. Lovely back heel. Iski Van Dorn running in on goal, tries to centre it, but again, doing a very good job of putting every through ball.
Pulls the trigger early, and it's a pretty good ball to Nkoso. Takes it in stride, and Nkoso denied by Kamara at the near post. What a ball that was. He angles well and back the other way. A chance now for the Zebras. Jaden Hayne, a foot race against Johnson. He gets there first, then gets the shoulder of Johnson. That's a free kick, and surely by Stevens, who's very solid so far defensively. Muller works it to Hugh Sloot. Sets up the volley for himself, but also allowed in the cuddler, who just...
Tapping in the boxes in Nkoso. Trying to get a touch Undy, and then an acrobatic own goal nearly. Eventually cleared. That was nearly a scissor kick.
Here, Castaneda across to Hugh Undy, starting to come into it a bit as the fleet-footed Undy. He drives that one in and sneaks in, and it looks like Nkoso is it who's got the final touch. It's Warren Wadawu even, and it's 1-0 to the Olympia Warriors as well. Waltman just waited on it. That led in Iski Van Dorn. Sanders dispossessed by Stevens. It's a pretty brutal challenge, that one there. Guys would have drawn things up, and I know he would have drawn this entire game up as Warren Wadawu picks off an error from Kamara and then tried to slide it through for Castaneda. Free becoming more and more of a monster to deal with as the seasons go on. As this one is now Castaneda across the face, poked on by Wadawu, and they double their lead. It's a bullet of a ball from Castaneda, and Warren Wadawu is corner opportunity here for the Warriors. It's swung to the back post. Lucas Hill diving all over his man. And
best position in the end as Stevens can't quite get out of the way. It was Glenage who concedes another one of the more.
Sliding through a good-looking ball for Dwayne Walsh. Walsh slides it across for Matthew Sanders, who stuffs the finish.
Offside.
The flag had been raised anyway to Spirit.
Right wing. Pace. Can't quite get on it. Another wrestling match. Really wanting his arm there. That was Mark the Business Ortman.
Sanders and Samet fire up, and Paul Stevens doesn't like the treatment that Sanders dished out to Samet and shoved him right back. A bit of a pushing match breaking out the box here.
The winner against Glenage backing into Hill's shirt. Paul and Given against Lucas Hill, and the slice of cheese located towards the back post and well cleared in the end. Shots Glenage underneath, and the check marksman makes it 2-1. Here a rifled finish underneath Brett Johnson.
Very timely goal, that one from the
the scoreboard. Back in motion, physiotherapy, massage, Pilates and personal training. If you're looking for any of those types of services, please see Evan Clayton at Back in Motion in Rosny Park. Unique Floors in Newtown Road for all your flooring, tiles and carpentry, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any need for any floors or tiles or carpet or parquetry, please speak to John and or Tony Morris there in Unique Floors in Newtown Road, Hobart. Of course, we also have on board two wonderful restaurant eating establishments down at Belred Key. We've got Virginia's Pizza and Pasta Takeaway Restaurant. Alfonso and Marco down there, so if you're looking for some lovely pizza and or pasta or takeaway, down at Virginia's Restaurant in the Belred Key. If you're on the Western Shore, we also got you covered there with Urban Greek Restaurant in Murray Street, Hobart, Waterville and Sava there with some wonderful home-cooked Greek food. That's Urban Greek in Murray Street, Hobart.
As we're back here for the second half at Warrior Park, Olympia out there ready to go with a 2-1 lead. Jakob Sklenage pulling one back for the Zebras just before the break, but it's definitely a half in which we saw Olympia on top for the majority of it. And well on their way to victory here. And the Zebras, well, they lost Hayne Huxley to injury and found themselves 2 goals down, but they were able to pull one back and give themselves a little bit of life here as we get ready for the second half. Well, it's been a good game so far, and hopefully it keeps up. Can you see any changes from the teams coming out, Paul?
No, nothing. Well, Zebras have only got one left, so you'd want to hope they haven't used theirs. Olympia, you'd be hard-pressed to find any changes unless it was injury-related from that first half. It's one of their more impressive performances this season as Copra blows the whistle and Castaneda gets us started, immediately finds the feet of Undy, intercepts again. Markage gives Kamara a hell of a task there to the cheers of the Olympia faithful at this end, and it'll be the first corner kick of the half. It doesn't look like any changes from either side at half time. Interesting to see how Zebras come out after that half. They started that half strongly, and you almost probably, they didn't want the half to finish.
Yeah, their best period was the last couple of minutes as the Warriors have the corner here. Swung to the back post, and it was curling. Not quite enough to dip in there, but definitely angling back there from Wadawu. Not quite enough bend, though.
Had a goal from a corner kick last week on Friday night from Iski Van Dorn. So maybe taking some inspiration there was the postman. Maybe he just wanted his hat-trick.
Could have also overhit the cross, I guess.
I was being generous.
Shek Kamara with the goal kick. His team needing to fight back in this match. He launches this one in the pace direction, who presents up and works it out there to Dylan to really stretch to keep it in play, and then pull ball from Van Dorn will roll out in front of Tommy Little.
Dawn still occupying his new position in the centre of the park as Sanders gets on the ball and looks down the line. He's got a willing runner down on the wing in Sklenage, but coming across is Tommy Little. Zebra's first corner of the match. Sklenage getting on the ball again like he did in the last 5-10 minutes of that first half. He was looking very good at that time, and Stone Cold in the thick of the action as always will deliver this ball in. Goes towards the back post. Getting clear is Stevens. Iski Van Dorn and pace do just enough to keep it in play, and then it goes in an area of absolutely no one.
Yeah, big Alex Marcage just went in the dummy, and there was absolutely no one in behind him there. So could have been a clever move, but need to just check. He actually had someone there in support. So Alex Holmes with the throw in here. He's going to try and gain a little bit of territory by the looks of it. Here's this one, quite a bit of force, and straight to Marcage. To Van Dorn, out to Robinson, runs out of real estate there, and Samet takes it quickly, throws it out in front of Nkoso, trying to lead the player into the open space there, and Marcage blasts that one off of Castaneda.
found it interesting that Kamara was sort of flat-footed in his 18-yard box there. I would have expected, given how much they like to play and switch here, that he would have been a bit further out of the box and then they'd look to switch it there, the Zebras.
Yeah, maybe they're going to do a little bit less of that in this half after he got himself in a little bit of trouble on a couple of occasions in that first half. He's Riley Dillon. That's one thing they do like to do, work it down one side, then fling it back out the other and try and bring the fullback further afield. Geordie Muller pressured by Joffrey and Koso. And forced him back here to Harutsa. Now Van Dorn, he skips around with Darwood. That was clever from Iski Van Dorn. Flying down the left and then just chips it into Castaneda for the throw-in. Taken by Riley Dillon, former Bentley Greens man. Back to Harutsa. Looks it inside for Muller. Go wide to Markaj. Alexander Variety. Now Robinson in a little bit of room here, Ben Robinson, and he swings the cross into the back post. Matthew Pace volleys it straight into Tommy Little. How's it fall? It falls for Riley Dillon, curling onto the left and then tries to chip Johnson. He was awake to it and he clutches that one fairly comfortably. The quick release out to Joffrey and Koso, who cuts back inside, and working back was Walsh. They're able to dispossess him initially, but then Ben Robinson works back and does so. Sklenage to Muller, to Pace. Broken up by Lucas Hill, tried to take it round Sklenage. Radawu, Castaneda. Now Joffrey and Koso. Joel Sammett's bombing on down the left and he drifts centrally. That was the wrong option. Cleared away, but Alex Holmes back there and another crack here as he works it to Castaneda. Castaneda with the long ball over the top, and he never gave Wadawu a chance with that one.
No, Wadawu wanted that one more towards his feet rather than into the box as Kamara launches that one into the night sky, rising up. Here's Sklenage, but deflects off the mountain Lucas Hill for another throw in to the Zebras. Taken quickly and crossfield ball from Van Dorn. Robinson's in a good pocket of space, hits it first time into the box, just sending the Dwayne pipe. A bit of a task there. He ends up firmly in the large amount of fencing we've got there.
He does indeed, as I think a substitution could be in the offing here. I'm going to assume it's for the Warriors because you'd be surprised should the Zebras pull the trigger. It looks as if Warren Wadawu is being replaced there. Johnny Griffiths coming on for them.
Substitution for Olympia
Yeah, I think that is.
Number 7, Warren
Griffiths.
Wadawu, comes off with 2 goals to his name.
As pointed out there by George Marcus, he's come off with 2 goals to his name and will be robbed of the chance of that trick.
And nearly had a third. Entirely sure what Wadawu's done wrong there, to be honest. So with maybe one for the post-match press conference for Coach Dale Hitchens, I think.
Interesting one. I thought Griffiths actually played quite a good game last week against City. His partnership with Samet down the left was real positive for them as Castaneda picks it up in the bullseye. Slides it through for Nkoso, but picked off by Harutsa. Holmes did well to get in front of Sanders, really worked hard to get there, and then Van Dorn just blasts it over the top. Out in front of Matthew Pace, who couldn't track that one down.
Just about sent that one to Calgary, did Iski Van Dorn.
Yeah, a fair bit of purchase on it there from the Canadian, just putting his boot through it, clearing the area. Tommy Little and Koso, foot in from Harutsa. Griffith's first involvement's just to chip it over the top, and Markaj says, I'll handle this, and then tells Kamara where he wants to go, and in the end that acts as a pretty good decoy to buy him room to get away from Nkoso, whose work rate has been fantastic in closing down these defenders. It's a pretty good ball from Sklenage. Plays in Robinson. He's got 3 to pick out in the box. One of them is Matthew Sanders off the woodwork and then cleared away. Oh, a coat of varnish in it. Not far away at all. Lovely flowing move that from the Zebras. And the woodwork denies the Colonel.
Oh, he was right there, Colonel Sanders. Peeled off the centre-back into the gap between the centre-back and the full-back. And Robinson picked him out to perfection. Robinson again flicking on and Holmes clearing that one. Perfect cross from Robinson. Now another attempt cleared by Hill. Undy couldn't quite get that one under his spell. They're getting a pocket of space. Again are the Zebras trying to work their way for a crossing. Left foot. Holmes clears again. He's been in front of everything tonight as the cuddler. Markaj works back well to Muller. Pressing here. The Zebras. Sklenage. Maybe just one step in front and a volley first time in the end from Sanders, but we'll concede the corner. The Zebras knocking on the door here in the second half.
It's as good as they've looked. That was a nice little block from Tommy Little, getting across to just deny Sanders the opportunity to swing the laces through it. Ollie Dillon again on set piece duty. He whips this one in and Alex Holmes is away. Iski Van Dorn at the top of the box, slightly heavy touch. Now Dwayne Walsh. Hops just pull it wide for Dillon, who swings it back in. Flicked onto the back post, and offside flag is raised. Sanders cannot believe it, but the flag straight up there from Stratos. And after being denied by the woodwork, he's now denied by the linesman.
It's been his couple of minutes, Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, I don't know about that one on the replay.
I mean, with the Dream Team...
Wouldn't mind another look at that one, Ash, but just caught the end of that one as I turned, but to me...
I was looking down that line, it's definitely a...
Flicked on there.
I mean, from that angle, it certainly looks like
He's
Lucas Hill, and even Lucas Hill, who's deeper than Holmes.
Yeah, that's a wrong decision. There's no other way about that one, I think. I mean, it's not a great camera angle.
I don't think we even need the magical yellow line across the field there. I think there's enough from that camera angle.
Yeah, look, it's obviously not an ideal one, but he does appear to be coming when that is flicked on. He does seem to be onside, so the Zebras can feel a little bit aggrieved for that one and denied in their quest to get back level. Here's Joffrey and Koso. Be real salt in the wounds if the Warriors were to go up the other end and score. As Griffiths scrapping away there with the Dwayne pipe and wins the throw in Olympia's way.
Coppery, you would assume they've used their headsets to communicate that decision. Take a minute as Castaneda now on the ball. Plays it inside. Griffiths hitting it first time, and Kamara down well. Paul Stevens striding forward. So used to Warren Wadawu coming off that right wing. He's not there at this stage. It's actually Griffiths who's it's a like-for-like swap for Wadawu. He leaves that one short. Stevens bails him out on this occasion. Griffiths, who's usually played at fullback this season. Throw-in taken to Sklenage. Dispossessed. Now Undy. Back to Griffiths. Pace. Sanders wanting it in the middle. Didn't put enough juice on it. Did Matthew Pace. Plays it all the way back to Brett Johnson. Launches that one high. Hurutza against Hugh Undy. You would think Hurutza will win the header most times. Markage. Hurutza and Kamara. Undy really wants some help there. He's got three Zebras players to track down by himself. Robinson eventually gets it in a pretty attacking area for the right back. Peeling off is Sanders. Flag stays down on this occasion. He'll work it onto the left peg. Centering ball is cleared from the mountain. Lucas Hill and Koso seems to be dropping deeper and deeper as the match wears on. Calls for high foot, not heeded, as Muller gets on the ball. Finds Stone Cold Riley Dillon, who'll use that left peg to go near post. Pace couldn't get a touch on it. Now it's Hurutza. Geordie Muller. Trying to look to switch the ball on every occasion here. The Zebras. Robinson peeling off. Hasn't got a whole lot down the line. So goes back to his defender. Markage. Again, hoiked out of the sky. Fault to Sklenage. Holmes gets in the way. Now Walsh, near post flick on header. Only Dillon will try to track that down, but it's a goal kick in the end. And Zebras continuing to press here in this second half.
Have a look at the high bit of Geordie Muller that the eye of Waddy Castaneda. He's certainly stooping, but quite a high boot in the end there. He gets away with that one, does Muller. It's Castaneda giving the Rangers fear to tread there. Johnson with the goal kick. His side a goal to the good, but it's certainly the Zebras knocking on the door and looking the more likely. They look a better side this half. It's swung a little bit after a first half for Olympia. We're in control for the most part. Griffiths nods it down for Undy. Taken away by Muller. Muller out now to Robinson. And the clock tower. Drops it off for Sklenage. Sklenage to Van Dorn. Robbed of it by Castaneda, who slides it through for Hugh Undy. But Hurutza sees it through to Kamara. Castaneda done a few very nice things this evening, the youngster. There's Walsh just catching that one, but out of bounds.
Not sure why Kamara was hesitating at that one. Ball's been skidding on all evening. You would think he was favourite for that one. He claimed it in the end as Olympia looks to get on the attack. It's Ortman who's beaten out on this occasion. Kamara looking to slow the play down with only Undy aiming to press. Lovely ball to Dwayne Walsh, facing the wrong direction. Needed to turn there, did the Dwayne pipe. He had plenty of room behind him. Ronnie Castaneda plays that out for a throw-in. Olympia here in potential danger. Into their shell a bit in this second half. Zebras continuing to push on. Throw in for the Zebras, taken Alexander Markaj. Now, Jan Harutsa. Muller, fouled by Paul Stevens on that occasion. Running away from the scene of the crime is Stevens. Turning Ziski Van Dorn. And the line to Robinson. Van Dorn, lovely ball back to the fullback. Deflected cross, falls out for a throw. Ziski Van Dorn trying to get himself on the ball a bit more. He's seen Geordie Muller running around getting a few more touches. Throw in from Robinson. Splenage. Sanders trying to turn, wanting handball on Joel Samet. Wasn't too far away from him. Again, Rutzer against Undy. Takes a touch and plays it back to Kamara. He's got Markaj in a lot of space. Hugh Undy. I'm seeing shades of Gordy Gerson here, just frustrated at the lack of support at a number 9 chasing down. It was a frustrating figure here for some part of the season. Undy is the only real Olympia player in their attacking half at that instance. It's now Holmes. Fouled after he passed the ball. Can't really blame Hugh Undy there for not getting enough support there. Seems social media's agreeing that wasn't an offside call.
Yeah, I think that's the consensus. But certainly bullet dodge there for the Warriors. Zebras need to just keep on plowing away here because they're looking the more likely side in the second half, although the foul there will give the Warriors a chance for Castaneda to show off that set-piece delivery. Undy wanted it played quickly over the top. That's the confidence he has in his ability to put it on a dime, but wait for both lines to get set up here, and Castaneda will undoubtedly just try and float one there for someone to run onto. Wouldn't be expecting a shot from this range. There's one cracking free kick in particular last week, which Koso ended up volleying over the top, but just perfectly weighted into the middle of the box, just took the defence out. It's an area he's really shown to be quite the strength at Ladi Castaneda. Like the technician over the dead ball. What can he conjure here after that big build-up? A little bit to do here. Undy, he turns. That's a great sliding block there. Matthew Pace, I think, putting the body on the line. As Undy looked to spring free here at the back post. Initially, it was just a little shirt grab. He quickly let go. Oh, he could have been in trouble. And well done, Pace.
Did think that. We had the perfect view of that from up here in the commentary box. There's been a lot of arm holding and shirt pulling in this game, but that's not a place you want to do it around it, the 6-yard box. It's the corner swung in to the back post. Holmes can't quite get a touch on it, but Tommy Little will keep it in play. Finds Nkoso, jinking and turning. Good tackle in the end, and the Zebras are off here. Riley Dillon's in a good amount of space here. He's got Mark the Business Ortman to beat. Look at Lucas Hill charging back. Ortman in the end looks to have done enough, and then Dillon slips over in the end. He'll try and shield it out the Business and does well. It's great defensive work from the Biz. Lucas Hill running back like a giraffe in full flight.
Well, we've already got a central defender.
I know.
Called the giraffe,
I couldn't think of another tall animal that can run fast.
Quite a defensive lineup if you had Oscar Thomas and Lucas Hill together. In terms of height and ability, as Castaneda trying to keep that one in. Couldn't quite do so, and the Zebras take the throw quickly down the line. Jakob Sklenage the target, a one-on-one with Hill. This will be a good contest. One of the best defenders in the state against arguably I suppose Braden Mann's probably dominant striker in the state this year, but outside of him, best striker in the competition. Got so used to Braden being a midfielder last year that we took him out of the conversation, but he's quite clearly moved himself back into #1 on the striker power rankings this year, if you will.
Yeah, won't be having any of him not being #1 on that power rankings.
Absolutely
He's been
not.
in dominant form up top for the Strikers, who are in action again tomorrow, looking to keep their spot on top of the table at home to Rangers.
Yeah, there they're going. Imagine they take care of that. They need 2 wins from their final 3 games, and the league title is theirs. They can drop 1, but they drop points in 2 of their final 3. It would be wide open once again. As Riley Dillon stands over the dead ball. We'll have South Hobart Lonnie City for you on the stream tomorrow. And you'd imagine South Hobart, given City's injuries, will be favoured to win that one, but certainly City have been a tough opponent for teams this year. And an obstacle there for South Hobart, whose game against Olympia is looking increasingly tougher next week too, as this one stood up to the middle of the box. Johnson comes, doesn't deal with it, and it falls almost for Rutsa, steered away. Iski Van Dorn, first to the fall. Back to Muller. Geordie Muller. And a rare errant pass there, although, to be fair to him, it was more the lack of a run that was forthcoming, I think.
A mixture of both, as South Hobart just thinking Northern Rangers, the game they dropped a few weeks ago, is looking very telling in this title race. You would think most games at Darcy Street, South Hobart will try and claim all 3 points, and on that occasion not getting any, things really hampered them in the title race.
It's almost as if a shiver went down the spine of our producer there, Paul.
I haven't had
bringing back memories like that.
I haven't had a death stare like that in quite some time. Usually it's because of my annoying rambling as Geordie Muller finds the Colonel Sanders.
Bringing up results like that, dangerous areas. Paul, your mic might get cut in a second.
Yeah, well.
Mine too, if we keep talking about that game, I reckon.
Ash didn't have to sit through that game. I watched every minute of that one. It's not one we've streamed.
It's a big result, as that's a wonderful ball from Castaneda. Springs Griffiths here. Griffiths has gotten Koso at the back post. He tried to work it to him. Robinson gets the foot in the way and shuts that one down as broke open again. Wadi Castaneda, some of his passing tonight's been fantastic in unlocking this defence.
Alex Holm giving him a pat on the back as he strode up for the corner for that exact reason.
They've just settled a bit in the last 5 or 6 minutes, the Warriors, haven't they? They're really on the back foot for the first 15 minutes of this half. Now they're starting to ask a few more questions of their own.
Yeah, we're musing that they really need to get on the front foot so they don't become complacent as the corner comes in. Well headed high up in the sky. Kamara immediately challenged by Tommy Little. Not the most convincing challenge from the Olympia defender, and Kamara whacked that one clear. Ortman in the headed contest. He does well to stand his ground with the Dwayne pipe breathing down his neck. Can't find pace, and there's the business. Once again, Hill gets clattered into after playing that ball. Play on it, and Koso gets a chance to run at the defence. He's got a wall of zebras around him though. Muller is one of them, and Griffiths clears in the end.
Well worked back there by Geordie Muller, stopping in Koso as he threatened to break in behind. Harutza across to Markage, made him stretch, and that's invited danger. Griffiths was lurking. Markage is good enough to recover the situation, but a few times tonight they've got themselves into a bit of trouble at the back, the Zebs, and Kamara gets it moving a little bit quicker. Straight to Samet. He cuffed it up to Iski Van Dorn. Calgary Flyer dwells on it, looks up, and then swings it with the left, and it's a good option because they had 2 players out here. Dillon and Sanders, they combine. Sanders back across the face, and Little charges it down for a corner.
Just noticing Olympia have moved Jonathan Griffiths up front. That bold strategy of putting a left back up front.
Interesting. He played on the wing last week and was very effective, but I've not seen him as a striker before. That's definitely a near rule, but he's got the stature that seems to be a requirement as this one swung in, and there was big Markage, I think, with a really good chance there. A free header, and doesn't make good contact at all. And another opportunity goes begging there for the Zebras. He perhaps had to lean back a little behind him, but you won't get many better looks than that.
Just trying to see if that was indeed markage. I think it was, judging by the stature. It's just that kind of standing start that he had. Didn't quite get enough pace on it. As finally a flick on header. One from Sklenage. Muller looking out wide, finds Dillon. A whole lot of room down that wing, so retreats, but now into pocket of space. Pace just gave it to him a little bit behind when he wanted. Still going here is Pace, and it's a really ambitious effort from the youngster. Trying to get on the highlight reel is Matthew Pace.
So it's had over 20 minutes remaining here as the Zebras try and haul in this lead. Olympia looking to hold on and make it back-to-back wins over top 4 opposition, something they hadn't achieved up till last week, so certainly a good sign for them. Their end of the year has been pretty strong. A big test for them next week, though, with South Hobart, a side who've just dominated their matchups. I lost count of how many wins in a row it's got to, but in a few years now since they've enjoyed success against South, so that'll probably be a really good opportunity to mark them, if you will. See where the improvements come as Nkoso works it to Griffiths, and they had numbers everywhere. Had to win that ball markage. He did ever so well. And has saved a goal there. They had a 4-on-none if he didn't win that ball.
Ben Robinson it was coming across, getting a foot in behind, I believe, in the red boots. We have another look. Not quite the highlight we're after there on that occasion. It was a crucial toe-in as anywhere behind, and it was a one-on-one with Sheku Kamara. Riley Dillon beats one and can't find the pass. Holmes quickly gets that one around but gives it away. Iski Van Dorn using his body well, but Holmes gets in front. Oh, nearly through to Joffrey Nkoso. A crucial touch again. Kamara this time claims, but Zebras starting to look a bit shaky at the back, just losing their shape a tad, particularly in defensive mid. Clattered into Jakob Sklenage. He'll be feeling that one in the morning.
Yeah, slightly sore noggin, and I think Griffiths has added a bit since coming on, just in closing down this Zebras defence. His defensive work in the final third has led to a few turnovers, as we have another look at that infringement by Little on Sklenage, but he's just, perhaps Wadawu was lagging a little, offered plenty of attack, but defensively, we're seeing from Griffiths, just causing a little bit of confusion and panic at the back from Zebras, and helping win the ball back for the Warriors. Riley Dillon stands over it. Alex Markage says, send it in my direction. And that's where he heads. It's Walsh in the end who wins the header. Away, flick back inside, now to the top of the box. Castaneda holding off the attentions of Van Dorn. Skewed the clearance away. Riley Dillon first to it, and then a really heavy touch that from the Dwayne pipe.
Yeah, when you're running at full steam like Dwayne Walsh was there, it's hard to get that little feather touch into space as Stevens knocks that one out of play. Throw in taken quickly. Sklenage manages to roll the defender, nearly gets the return ball. Given away. Walsh fighting for it. Stevens and Ortman do enough to get out. Now Artie Castaneda. He's got Joffrey Nkoso up ahead. It's a lovely ball to Hugh Undy as it gets the keeper and puts it wide. Hugh Undy finally got that crucial 1v1 opportunity he's been looking for against Sheku Kamara and just couldn't quite wrap his foot around it. Kamara came out quickly to close down the angle. Put him in two minds as now attacking forward is Riley Dillon. Deflects off him for a throw-in. But Olympia looking really dangerous on the counter here and just trying to get some pace in behind the tall centre-backs of the Zebras.
Yeah, it worked there. That's the type of chance they've been looking for. A wonderful ball from Nkoso, nicely weighted, but Hiwandi just couldn't quite get the direction on it. As Haruta pulls out the pitching wedge and sends this one down to the corner. Sanders trying to get in behind of the mountain, but that's easier said than done. Good use of the body there from Big Lucas Hill. He's boxing him out. 20 minutes, you'd imagine, with stoppage time left for the Warriors now. And closer to victory. as Johnson smashes this one. Muller, Stevens, and Markage. Couldn't find pace.
Greatest looking pass off the boot there from Markage.
It wasn't. And, plenty being set out there by the Zebras players to each other at the moment. A little bit of discontent creeping in as the Warriors have wrestled back control of this game. Here's Nkoso. Turning is the king of the handles. Up against Riley Dillon. Support came in the form of Van Dorn, but then Castaneda has been so clever, worked it back to Nkoso. They've got Ortman in space if they can get it to him. They do eventually. It's the business Ortman, and it's a cracking sliding challenge from Alexander Markage.
Wonderful defender's challenge there from Alexander Markage, using all of his body to get in the way of Ortman. Castaneda did well to dig that out. It was slightly behind him, but then unfortunately just a tad too late and allowed Markage time to get over. Sklenage now on the ball. Got Sanders for company, lays it behind. He's on rushing attacker, Dwayne Walsh. So eventually concede the throw in there, will Dwayne Walsh. Not happy about that decision, but correct from my point of view. Joel Samet will take this one. Down the line he goes to Griffiths. Walsh wins it on this occasion. Sanders can't keep it under his spell. And now Dillon will look to attack down the left. He's got pace up ahead, wants the return ball. Sklenage manages to win this one. Dillon needs to go back inside, and he does. Lovely switch of play from Sklenage. It's Walsh. Sanders in the middle. Robinson overlapping. Goes towards the back post, but pace couldn't quite get onto that one. And Zebras really trying to find that equaliser here this evening. Nothing coming as of yet.
Love for the keeper there from the big mountain too. Matthew Pace, the target at the back post. Walsh with plenty of time to pick the pass, but it was always going to be a tough one to execute. Try and tee up somebody as this one floats in the Muller direction. Castaneda competing. Paul Stevens has had a really good game tonight in front of the back four, just breaking up the play. Made a lot of challenges. Here's Matthew Pace. A room down the left suddenly for the Zebras. Iski Van Dorn. Castaneda tracking back in defence. Van Dorn got a cross in and gets a corner. So 15 minutes left to go. The Hobart Zebras pushing for the equaliser. They've scored plenty of late goals this season. You know, they'll keep attacking right up to the final whistle. It's Riley Dillon who ignores Van Dorn's offering short. Instead will swing it into that tall timber once again. It's headed back in. It's on top of the net there. Well, they've picked their targets. Riley Dillon's delivery's been pretty good tonight, but nothing coming from these corners.
Yeah, Jan Harutza not terribly happy with himself on that occasion. Johnson still down on the ground. He actually ended up tangled in the net there. Did the goalkeeper. He hasn't done anything too serious from what seemed like a fairly innocuous incident. Got some studs caught in the netting.
Yeah, not what you want to see there, the American keeper.
Both players taking the opportunity for a drink.
So we have another look at this corner that was swung in and pulled it onto the roof of the net there by Harutza. Tough chance for him, but you can see why they've not taken a short with those options in Robinson, Harutza, Markage, Sanders, Sklenage. They're some good aerialists.
Yeah, not necessarily needing the short corner there. As he's still down at the moment. Johnson doesn't really move from inside his own goal. Copra making sure all time is being added on. So we see Johnson in the Olympia FFA Cup kit from last year.
Struggling to put weight on that foot. He's testing it out. I think he's going to be all right. If you can see out the final 15 minutes. Angus Murphy at the backup keeper, the muffin, if he was needed to be called upon, but it looks like we won't be given the savoury goods this evening, and Brett Johnson will be able to continue, which is good for the American.
I now feel like a savoury muffin now.
Yeah, I think you're out of them. Yeah, pulled pork rolls, you're a chance, but I reckon you're probably out of luck on the muffin front, except, of course, for young Angus Murphy down the bench. Maybe you can get an autograph off him.
I probably should.
As Jakob Sklenage chips this one down the line, looking for the run of Riley Dillon, but as has been the case a few times tonight, just setting too much of a task. And there in the far corner. Does anyone have it in them for a late goal, or will 2-1 be the end result this evening? Riley Dillon ahead of his opposite number there, Castaneda. Tommy Little. Now Muller. The game just being played in that little corridor near touchline that we've got absolutely no view of whatsoever.
Yeah, it'd be great if they could just take it out of this area, the one area we can't see to the naked eye. We're reliant on our wonderful stream here for that corner, and again knocked down the sideline in front of the benches. And once again, that one's hoofed in just about into the toilet block. Ball finally arrives back in play. Down the line is the Colonel Sanders. Last touch probably come off an Olympia player, so Zebras, after all that work down the touchline, end up with a corner. With ticking down to 10 minutes left. Riley Dillon, whose delivery's been pretty good all night. We'll see which one of the tall timber he can pick out on this occasion. It's Riley Dillon looking towards the middle, nearly winning that one again. Was Harutza. Pace. First time shot. Oh, great save, Brett Johnson.
Was it? I thought it was woodwork.
No, I thought that was a palm. Referees called it woodwork.
Well, look on the replay. Johnson's obviously not going to line up. Van Dorn unleashing an absolute rocket.
Ooh, he's got a tiny fingertip on that, I think, Johnson.
You got better eyes than I do, I'm not sure. Those are as inconclusive as they come, I reckon. But I think he's going body language doctor afterwards. He did look a little sheepish, like, am I really going to get away with this? He thinks I haven't touched it? It's okay.
It's what we've talked about before. We've made such a good save and you want to claim it, but then it's given a goal kick, so you just completely plead innocence.
No, it looked a little sheepish to me, so I reckon he might have got a finger on it just based off the body languages. At the back, it's Nkoso pressuring Markage. They've got themselves into trouble a few times tonight, the Zebras trying to play out. Geordie Muller striding in the middle of the box. He shows no fear whatsoever and drops it off for risky Van Dorn. Van Dorn turns and sends it in the Riley Dillon direction, and now things might start to open up in front of him. He works it to Matthew Pace. He'll take on Tommy Little, who just leans on into him there, the big fella. And he dealt with it nicely. Tommy Little, as he kept it in play to boot. He has Stevens. One deflects out of play and will be a throw in the Warriors' way. Inside the final 10 minutes now. Time becoming an enemy for the Zebras. Olympia on the verge. Stringing together back-to-back victories.
Not looking at making a sub anytime soon, or Olympia, all their players huddled in amongst the rugs. Oh, heavy touch, it's nearly going to play in. Zebras attacker, but Holmes does just enough and managed to get some on the Dwayne pipe, so they'll win the throw-in on that occasion, but Walsh nearly in after the missed touch from Joel Samet. He kept running, did Walsh, and Holmes just got there in time and in no hurry to take this throw-in. The Warriors deep in their own defensive half. Griffiths not going to win a height advantage over Robinson and doesn't win the header. It's Glenage turning, trying to get on the right peg. Dillon manages to mop up, receives the ball again. Van Dorn. Oh, lovely turn and good challenge in the end. Like the business, Ortman clears, but great challenge from Tommy Little.
Impressed
coming
with him
across.
tonight.
Yeah, I certainly agree. Normally see him at centre back, filling in particularly when Holmes and Hill were out, but he's done quite a good job at right back tonight with Tommy Little. Sklenage trying to turn, and Koso. A lovely bit of skill from the king of the Andals. That's a lovely through ball. Hugh Undy gets there in time, beats one. Hugh Undy still going. Undy with a beautiful finish. Probably the winner for Olympia Warriors, but Hugh Undy beats two and loves it.
Beats one, beats two, beats the keeper. And that'll be good night, Hobart Zebras. 3 goals to 1 after 83 minutes. And some credit too to Joffrey and Koso, who showed some tremendous skill. Thought he just under-hit the through ball, in truth. Probably did a little, but Hugh Undy, boy, you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. That was outstanding from him. And 2 weeks in a row, in the clutch moment at the end, it's Hugh Undy who's come up trumps.
It's the air horn rifling out. Marcus and Vandermeer loving that one in the corner. And you'd probably think that is the sealer on this evening. Hugh Undy, a really good first half, quite in this second half. And then in a moment, beats Harutsa for pace. Gets around and then coolly puts it past Kamara. Had a similar chance earlier on, but made no mistake on this occasion as Holmes doing what he's done all night, the big cuddler, and headering that one clear. It's Robinson. Down to Van Dorn. Van Dorn. Sklenage plays that to no one in particular. And again, that run from Hugh Undy, he's really fired up for this one. Sets in Koso a task, but he keeps it in play. And Koso with Castaneda and Undy in the box. And Robinson does just enough to play it back to Kamara. Launch to Sklenage. Sanders controls and plays it down the line to Pace. Didn't get enough pace on that header. And the Mountain will take over. Mighty Castaneda. Looking for Nkoso. Willing runner on the far side is Jonathan Griffiths. Goes low. And Undy had fallen over. Just kept in the field of play from the Zebras. And Geordie Muller will now turn out and look to start a Zebras attack.
Stone cold Riley Dillon looks up. The Zebras push hard, but looking like it might be beyond them now. Chipped in the pace direction if you can keep this one in play. He's got to run at Tommy Little here, and he gets the better of Little's pace, and he swings it in well, blocked away by Holmes. Falls now for Dwayne Walsh, back to Whiskey Van Dorn, skips free into space and sends it across. It stood up to the back post. He's got Sklenage, who smashes it over the top. And if there were any chances of the Zebras getting back into this one, I think they just diminished with that shot flying over the bar.
I also just lost my house, as I would have put my house on Sklenage scoring from that position. He blazes over from about 8 yards out. Johnson scrambling to cover as much of his goal as possible. And the check marksman, one of the best in the state. Expect him to put it on target from there as Johnson launches long. Good hold-up play from Mighty Castaneda, not something we're used to hearing. Undy finds Nkoso, it's straight offside. And he's run a tad early, wasn't expecting as many step-overs from Hugh Undy, who's looked pretty good, not showing too much rust after coming back from his trip away.
No rust whatsoever. I mean, he came off the bench last week. Wonderful assist on the match winner. Even dynamite this evening. Got himself assist earlier on, and now he goes bang and kills off the Hobart Zebras. You'd have to think with that third goal. Certainly a few heads dropped afterwards. They'll keep pushing, but unlikely now for the Zebras and Olympia. It's been good value for it. It's been a game that's had plenty of ebbs and flows, and both teams have had periods in the ascendancy, but I think on the balance of play, you're probably going to be deservingly ahead, even though there was that moment of controversy earlier in the half. Sanders having an equaliser ruled out in rather contentious circumstances, didn't appear to be offside. But Olympia, fair play to them. They've good value this evening, and 2 weeks in a row they've had pretty good performances against top 4 teams, and looks like they're going to have a pair of victories as this one's chipped, and in the end it's negotiated by Johnson. He would have given out that ankle a decent little test there, I suspect.
Certainly would, turning like that to prevent the ball going in. Errant cross coming from the far side, but yeah, I think Olympia will get great enjoyment out of beating their long-time rivals in Hobart Zebras here tonight. Always get up that little bit more for a derby match, and they certainly have tonight. And that man Alex Holmes has been the best on the park. He's not giving Sanders and Sklenage much of a sniff all evening. There's the foul called. It's been a bit more calmer second half than we had in the first half. Tempers not fraying as much, as we'll see Zebras make their final sub of the match. It's Geordie Muller coming off. And
Lucky Bird, I think, coming on.
There's not many to choose from left for the Zebras, but I think that's Lockie Burt coming on.
He's got 2 minutes and stoppage time to try and make himself the hero. Or at the very least, get himself in the highlights package.
We could put that substitution in the highlights package for him.
Been a bit too much in this game for that, I reckon. Paul no need to quite stretch it out, as this one's punched in there and flicked well wide in the end by Matthew Pace. And time running out now for the Zebras, who look like they're about to fall to Olympia for the first time this year, and that's probably a good thing for Olympia. They've avoided the indignity of the sweep, and they certainly wouldn't want a season sweep against their bitter rivals. Something that could be lauded over them, but we'll close the gap between the 2 to 6 points, and Olympia showing good signs towards the end of the year ahead of Clark taking over next year. We'll see what squad he has to work with. As just a little arm by Markaja across the Bundy. Immediately apologised for it, so I don't think it was intentional. Stevens knocking it in the Walsh direction, but with that one covered was Alex Holmes. Going to rock in defence this evening, the big cuddler.
Interesting to see the impact of Rob Clark on this squad. No more for his youth coaching here. And we'll see how he goes stepping up to senior NPL ranks. They've got a very good youthful team already, Olympia, and hopefully most of them stick around for Olympia's sake. They're staying, especially in this latter half of the season, starting to build a pretty good chemistry between them. And as we've mentioned, with one or two little additions, they'll be back being one of the perennial top 4 teams in the NPL, hopefully.
Yeah, I think as you flagged earlier, a number 9 will be at the top of the shopping list. If they can get that, they've got a lot of good pieces. They'll have Nick Mearns coming back into that midfield. And let's not forget, this is a man who's one of the best players in the state when he's fit, so that'll certainly help them. I think probably a fullback and a striker will be the key areas they need to strengthen. We'll see obviously who sticks around and who leaves, where they need to bolster, but the 2 areas I think that have probably let them down the past 2 years. They've tried, and Gordy Gerson fought the good fight, but not really a natural number 9. You would have preferred him out wide, I think, this year. And ended up having to shoulder the load as the centre forward for most of the season. As Hugh Undy in full flight. They would have loved to have him all season too. He's shown his quality that they've been missing for the past couple of months, this past fortnight since returning, and he's going to look to take on the defence here, but standing him up well was Markage, who works at Desclenage, back to Markage. Dwayne Walsh bursting down the right here, and a better ball might have played him in. Samet thumped away, steered away by Robinson. They've switched to a back 3, and now Nkoso has got some room. He's running at them here. Joffrey Nkoso to land the killer blow. He's brought down clumsily by Harutza, and Copra has no hesitation in pointing to the spot and giving him a slice of cheese.
Harutza looking incredulous at that decision. He cannot believe that Copra has given it. On first look, Nkoso was certainly running clear, and he did stick a leg out in the end. You would think Wadawi would have taken this if he was on the field, try and seal that hat-trick. Might even be Nkoso himself to take it.
Let's have a look. Is it a dive or is it a foul? Harutza certainly felt it was a dive. It does look a bit divey. I mean, his leg is out at an awkward angle, so that's what's deceived me, but I think he has played for that one, the King there. We'll see if there might have been a little bit of contact. It was clumsy. Just,
I mean, it's
the centre-back sticks his foot out like this, you get yourself in trouble.
That's my point of view. If you stick your leg out like that, you're always the slightest touch, but he's taken 2 touches and then gone over Nkoso.
I guess the argument is, did it put him off balance and then he's fallen? I think he's looking for it. Anyway, he's got the spot kick. He steps up and he drives home the dagger to make it 4-1. A very decisive victory now. A little bit of salt in the wounds to an already aggrieved Zebras team. The Warriors don't care. They've been fantastic tonight. And now the scoreboard is really reflecting it. And, well, who said this game doesn't mean anything? Boy, are they loving it out there.
Loving it out there. Paul Stevens especially, and Francis giving that air horn a hell of a workout after that one. And Olympia Olympia fans will be going home happy this evening, putting 4 past the storied rivals in the Hobart Zebras, who are probably looking for the final whistle at this stage. But getting a touch, which is good to see. Robinson finds Sklenage. Hasn't had a whole lot of luck against his former team tonight, as Jakob Sklenage. He's been well marked from Hopes. Olympia nearly in for a 5th in the, but Kamara does enough. Sklenage and Holmes, and guess what? Holmes wins again. Undy battling with Harutsa. Wanted to go back to the keeper, Jan Harutsa. Instead, finds the Calgary Flyer, Risky Van Dorn. Now, Lucas Hill, who seems to have appeared up forward. Castaneda. Nice touch and an absolute shank. Nearly falls to Nkoso, who keeps it in. Kamara's off his line. Griffiths puts it over into the Olympia fan zone. Lovely touch from Castaneda, though, in the build-up, wasn't it?
Yeah, lovely stuff. He's been silky tonight, Castaneda. Had some room to operate in. And he's well and truly made the most of it. Just a reminder to everyone at home. Not sure that was meant to come up, but the full-time whistle has blown here at Warrior Park. And it's Olympia who register back-to-back victories over top 4 opposition, and they get one over their rivals this season. It was a cracking game. Certainly a little bit of fortune, you'd have to say, for Olympia. The Zebras had a perfectly legitimate goal ruled out, and that penalty at the end. But on the balance, I think you probably have to say the Warriors created more with a better team, and can't argue too much that they've got the win.
Yeah, no, I think Olympia are fully deserving of their victory here this evening. Few controversial circumstances, you know, surrounding penalties and offsides and things, but as you say, on the balance of play, I think Olympia created more, looked a bit more dangerous in attack. I thought Holmes and Hill did a marvellous job on Sklenage and Sanders, and I think that was one of the deciding factors of this game. They were really up for it, were the Warriors. I think that'll give them a big lift, especially when some would think their season is over and not really have anything to play for, but they are hugs all round in front of us here. And Hugh Undy's goal, an absolute picture of this evening, a wonderful goal, and we really put Olympia in front. Didn't they love it, as we see Nkoso's penalty again. Stuck a leg out for Rutzer, but I'm not sure how much contact was made.
Yeah, he's looking for it, but as a defender it was just a bit naive for mine. I think he can feel the grief, and rightfully so. Nkoso's looked for it, but if you stick the leg out, you quite often get it, and he absolutely did. And capped off a pretty good performance from the King of the Andals, and indeed from the Olympia Warriors, who walk away here with a 4-1 victory. I think an overwhelming feeling of positivity around this ground here this evening. A lot of smiles, which is not something we've been able to say too often this year. It's certainly in a better mood than it has been, and I think heading in the right direction ahead of next year for the Hobart Zebras. It's going to make it tough for them to finish higher than 4th. They'll want to win their last couple. They'll be disappointed with the outcome. They'll probably feel a bit of grief, thinking it should have been 2-2, but at the end of the day, they were unable to find that clinical edge they've shown in their 2 previous encounters against them. And that is why they've fallen 4-1 in Friday night football. And I must say, really like the return of Friday night football this part for fourth night in the pool.
I've thoroughly enjoyed both evenings, especially up here where I haven't had to freeze my backside off unlike last week. But both games have been real enjoyable, and bring it on, I say. Yeah,
the more of it, the better as far as I'm concerned for next year. So let's hope that can get done. But for all of us here at Warrior Park this evening, it's a farewell, and we'll be back with you tomorrow as South Hobart take on Launceston City at the Theatre of Dreams, trying to keep their fading, slim, but still their title hopes alive. They must get the 3 points against City. Do join us for that one. From Warrior Park, it's bye for now.